Hi, so this session is on expanding, and then also it involves expanding when it comes to equations as well. So when it comes to expanding, we know there are brackets involved, and we have to get rid of these brackets. And to do that, the number on the outside, which is in this case 4, is multiplied with everything inside the bracket. So the variable, in this case x, and the number 8. And we know there's an invisible times in between the 4 and the bracket. So if it helps, you can use arrows, 4 times x and 4 times 8. And there's a plus in the middle. Now that plus really belongs to the 8, so it's really a positive 8. Or you can just put the plus in the middle and then multiply. So put the plus down first if you want to, and then we have 4 times x, which is just going to be 4x. We know the times is invisible in between the 4 and the x. And then 4 times 8, well, 4 times 8 is 32. And now, can we add 4x and 32? No, we can't. If we had an x here, then yes, we could. We can go 4x plus 32x to give us 36x. But we can't add that because there's no x here. So they're two different things, and we know we can only add like terms. So just stop there. With our next question, once again, we have brackets, and you notice there's a minus here. So if you want to get your question started, the answer, you can put your minus down here, and then multiply everything in the brackets by 7. So 7 times y is just 7y. Minus is taken care of, so 7 times 6 is 42. And that's all we can do. We cannot add 7y, sorry, we cannot go 7y, take away 42, because they are not like terms. If we had a y here, then yes, we can go further, but in this case, we can't. For our next one, it's starting to look a bit more complicated because instead of just having a number here, 3, we've got 3c. But it's still the same thing. There's an invisible times here. So 3c times 9a and 3c times 2b. Now, if you can't do this mentally because it's a bit confusing, you can show some working out. And to do that, we get our equal sign ready. Because there's a plus in the middle, we can put a plus in the middle if you want to, or you can do it later. And then to show working out, we are saying 3c times 9a. And just write that out, 3c times 9a. And put this in brackets because we know we have to multiply first. And then when we've done that, we add it to 3c times 2b. So 3c times 2b. See how they both get a turn? And then work inside the brackets. So the plus is still going to be there. And so now, with our numbers, 3 times 9 is just going to be 27. And c times a is just ca. Or we can put it alphabetically to have ac. And we know if we have ca or ac, it's the same thing. But it's better to have it in alphabetical order. And then in these brackets, once again, multiply your numbers. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then c times b is just cb, or we can write it alphabetically and write bc. And now do a final check. Are these two like terms? Do we have the exact same variables on with each term? Well, we've got ac here and bc here. Unfortunately, they are not the same, so we cannot add these. So that's our final answer. Now with our next question, it looks completely different to the others because instead of just having a number and brackets, we now have a 5a here plus 2t. Now you have to remember or see that the 5a and the 2t are not inside the brackets. So they will not be multiplied with the 2. So you can see that. If they were inside the brackets, then yes, they get a turn to be multiplied by 2. But a lot of students on the test, they went 2 times a and 2 times t. Then they also went 2 times 5a and then 2 times 2t. Okay, and we don't do that. So the last 2 steps we don't do. Get rid of that. We only multiply what's inside the brackets with the 2. And so in the brackets we have a and we have 2t. So first expand your brackets, and then we will later see if we can add anything. If there are like terms. So first, let's expand our brackets. So 2 times a is just 2a. There's a minus in the middle. And then 2 times 2t, Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and t will just sit there. There's nothing else. And now don't forget the rest of this. Make sure you write it down also. So we have plus 5a and then plus 2t. Now, if you left your answer like this, you actually are not finished because you have to make sure your answer is simplified. And this is where you do your check. Are there, for example, if you look here, we've got an a variable. Are there any other a's in the whole expression? We've got a t here, and there's another a here by itself. So the 2a, the positive 2a, and the positive 5a are like terms. So we can add them. And what is 2 plus 5? 2 plus 5 is 7, and we have 7 a's or 7 apples. And we're done. So we can cross that off. That's been simplified. And now we've also got a t here, and there's also another t over here. So this 4t always go to the left. That's a negative 4t. And here we've got a positive 2t. And well, minus 4 plus 2, using our negative number skills. And if you get stuck, always check with the calculator. So minus 4 plus 2 will be a negative 2, and we've got negative 2t. And that's it. We cannot do anything else, and our answer has been simplified. So now for our next example, you notice there are 3 terms inside the brackets. And it looks complicated, but it's actually really easy. So once again, there's an invisible times there, and if you ever get stuck, just put arrows to remind yourself everything is multiplied by 2ab that is inside the brackets. Now for this one, we can show you working out if you can't do it mentally. So first step is 2ab times 3c. So 2ab times 3c. So we do that bit first. Plus there. So next thing we put is a plus. And next, 2ab times 2e. So 2ab times 2e. And that can go in its own brackets. Now I can't fit it on the same line, so don't get confused with your one. If you're writing this down, put it all on one line if you can. And then minus is next, so minus. And once again, 2ab times, what's here, what's the last term? Fg. And we can put that in brackets. And now simplify everything in the brackets. And don't forget there's a plus here and a minus there in between the terms. So now 2ab times 3c. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. Always multiply your numbers. And ab times c is just a, b, c. Done. There's a plus here, so next comes plus. And then 2ab times 2e. 2 times 2 is 4. And then ab, e. So a, b, and e. There's a minus that comes next. So minus. And now 2 times, well, there's no number here. There's an invisible 1. So 2 times 1 is just 2. And AB times FG, well, A, B, F, and G. And now, can we add any of these terms together? Unfortunately, we can't because there are no terms that are like terms. We've got ABC here, no other ABCs, ABE here, and there's no other ABE. And the same with AB and ABFG. So that's your final answer. This will be our last question on expanding. And then we can solve some equations. So for this one, once again, you notice we have 2ab outside the brackets, and this minus abc is not inside the brackets. So leave this bit until last and first expand the brackets. So first go 2ab times 5c and 2ab times 8t. Now we will do this one mentally. So 2 times 5 is just 10, and we've got ab times c, so it's just going to be abc. Takeaways in the middle, so takeaway, and then 2ab times 8t. So once again, multiply your numbers. 2 times 8 is 16, and then a, b, and t. A, b, t. And that's taken care of. So the brackets are now gone. We have expanded those. But please don't forget to write this down as well. It's still part of the expression. So minus 6a, b, and c. Just able to squeeze it in. Now, don't just stop there. Always do a check and see, are there any like terms? Are there any variables that are exactly the same? And let's have a look. We've got an ABC here. There's an ABT here. That's different because there's a T here instead of a C. But here we have ABC. These are like terms. They're exactly the same. So we can add or subtract the 10 and in this case, it's a minus 6. So what is 10 minus 6? Well, that's 4. But for what? A, B, and C. And that's taken care of. It's now gone. And what's left? Minus 16 A, B, T. And we're done. So now our next few questions will be solving equations. And you notice that they involve brackets. Now, if you know the shortcut, then you can use a shortcut. But the best way is whenever you see brackets, always expand them to get rid of the brackets. That should be your first step. So to expand brackets, we now know that we go 2 times the 4u and 2 times the 2. There's a plus in the middle. So whenever you see brackets and you have to solve an equation, first expand them. So 2 times 4u, well 2 times 4 is 8 and u just sits there. So plus in the middle, and 2 times 2 is 4. The brackets are now gone, and this equals 52. And now all we're going to do is solve our equation. So use those skills when it comes to solving equations. So we've got an 8 here and a 4 here. The first thing to go will be the plus 4. So we minus 4 on this side. It's gone. Minus 4 on that side. So we have 8u equals 52 minus 4 gives us 48. And then our final step, we know that 8 is joined to u by times. So the opposite of times is to divide by 8. And that will cancel out and divide by 8. So u equals 48 divided by 8 is 6. And we can do, so we've got our answer. So make sure you go back and do your check if it's not too difficult. And this one, we've got a whole number, so it's not too hard. So now if u is 6, so imagine here we had a 6. So imagine if u was 6. So we have 4 times 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. And then 24 plus 2, because 2 is in the brackets. So 24 plus 2 is 26. And then 2 times 26 would be 52. So we got it. So with our next equation, you notice how the variable, in this case m, is on this side here. Now if you feel comfortable solving this with m on this side, you can go ahead and do that. But if you don't like m on this side, just rewrite it. So write down what you see. So we've got 5 bracket 2m, so 2m minus 5. We're not changing anything, we're just rewriting it by switching it. So what comes next? We've got equals, and what does it all equal? 15. So these two equations are exactly the same. We haven't changed anything. We've just made the m, put the m on this side. And now let's solve this. So to solve this, we see brackets. So our first step is to expand the brackets. So 5 times 2m, and then 5 times that 5. And there's a takeaway in the middle. So now 5 times 2m, so 5 times 2 is just going to be 10. And don't forget to write the m there. And there's a minus in the middle, so minus 5 times 5 is 25. Equals 15. And now all we have to do is solve this. It's really easy. So we know that 25, or the minus 25 goes first because it's the furthest away. So opposite of minus 25, or it's a plus 25, and then plus 25 here. So we've got 10m equals 15 plus 25 is 30. It's 40. And now our final step is to get rid of that 10. We've got 10 times m, so divide by a positive 10, that cancels out. Divide 40 by 10, so m will equal 40 divided by 10. We'll chop our zeros off, and 4 over 1 is just 4. And we're done. And now let's do our check. So if m is 4, so if we have 4 here, so we got 2 times 4, which will be 8. And then 8 minus 5 would be 3. So in the brackets we would have 3. And 3 times 5 times 3 is our 15. So we got it right. Now with our next equation, this looks more challenging. And I guess it is more challenging only because of this 2y here. But it's actually really easy. And we've actually worked with something like this when expanding brackets. So to solve this equation, our first step is, if you see brackets, get rid of them by expanding. So we'll go 4 times 3y and 4 times the 2. So we end up with, well, 4 times 3 is 12, and the y just sits there, plus in the middle. 4 times 2 is 8, And now let's write down everything else that's left. We've got the plus 2y, so that comes down. So plus 2y equals, and don't forget the 50 on that side. Now, you notice how there's sort of like a problem. We've got a y here and a y there. And all you have to do is simplify, and in this case, add them. So if you have the same variable on the same side, first simplify them and to show we can have one variable. So what is 12y? It's a positive 2y. So what's 12 plus 2? 12 plus 2 is 14. So we have 14y. And we have simplified the 12y and the 2y to have one y here. And then don't forget the plus 8 is still sitting there. So plus 8 equals 50. And now we just solve this as we normally would. So you can see why this one was more challenging, only because we had a plus 2y that we had to add with the 12y once we expanded. And now you can solve this. So minus 8 on both sides, and minus 8. So we have 14y equals 42. 50 minus 8 is 42. And then our final step, we have 14 times y, and we know the opposite of times is to divide. So divide by 14 and cancels out. Divide by 14. And 42 divided by 14 is 3. And we're done. And you can go back and do your check. Your check for this one will be a bit more trickier, but see how you go. All right, we'll try one more question. So once again, we have to solve. So the question is asking us to solve this equation to find out what x is. We have brackets, so we know our first step is to expand the brackets to make them go away. So we go 5 times 2x, which is 5 times 2 is 10, and the x just sits there. There's a takeaway there, and 5 times 5 is 25. And now don't forget to write down the rest that we have left. So we've got plus 3x equals 1. And now our next step is to simplify anything we can on the same side. On the same side here, we've got a 10x and a 3x. So they can be, in this case, added together. What's 10x plus 3x? Well, 10 plus 3 is 13. So 13x. The minus 25 is still there. So we simplify the 10 and the 3x equals 1. And now all we have to do is solve this. Opposite of minus 25 is to plus 25, and plus 25 on this side. So we have 13x equals 1 plus 25 is 26. And then our final step, divide by 13. That cancels out. Divide by 13. So x equals 2. 2. Whoop, it's frozen. There we go. Okay, so hopefully that has helped with expanding. And whenever you see brackets in equations, all you have to do is first expand your brackets, simplify anything if possible, and then solve it. Thank you.